Inside Sportsnet's digital studio for some more instant analysis. MLB allowing the Rays to explore the option of splitting games between Tampa Bay and Montreal. And any idea of Montreal getting baseball back means we have to talk to a native son from the city. Ariel Helwani works for ESPN right now. Ariel, first question off the hop, as I see you're dressed very appropriately for this as well. The idea of baseball coming back to Montreal, when you read the report, what was your first thought, your first reaction?
Oh, man, I have to say it was like a roller coaster of emotions, because first I started to get hot flashes. I started to sweat. I started to get chills. I don't know what was going on. And then I just had to kind of sit there and digest it and read it. Okay, what exactly is being offered here? Like, what is this? This half season thing? Is this real? Is this not real? And so then I started to get like an avalanche of texts. And I just needed to ignore everyone and read it. And I know Jeff Passan very well, and I know he's a very credible reporter. And then I started to think about 2003 when they were splitting games with Puerto Rico and how much I hated that as a fan. And then I started thinking about the fans in Tampa Bay. And I have to be honest, I obviously want baseball back in Montreal. And I strongly believe baseball will return to Montreal. And I strongly believe Montreal is a baseball city. One thing I don't want to advocate for is relocation, because I used to hate when people would say, oh, who cares about baseball in Montreal? No one will care if the Expos leave. There's no real fans there. And I don't think that was the case. I'm here to tell you that wasn't the case. And I don't think that's the case in Tampa. And I see people saying that about Rays fans as well. I know there's kids there who would be devastated if the Rays leave. And so this idea that, we're taking their team, I prefer expansion. But if they're going to offer this to us, I'll take it. Now, I'll also say I think it's very far-fetched. I can't imagine why the Players Association would want to do this. I think the players wouldn't be happy about it. I don't think the employees would be happy about it. I think the silver lining to all this is Tampa pushing back on the city, and hopefully this means, because MLB is giving them permission to pursue it, that we are one step closer to baseball returning full-time, 162 games to my city. I can't wait. It feels more real than ever. I'm sorry if I rambled there.
No.
I mean, a lot going on in my mind.
The raw emotion is what we want, and that's why we wanted to talk to you about it. I mean, take us back to 15 years ago now when the last game was played there. You tweeted, your emotions. You were in tears because it meant so much. I mean, the city and baseball, what is the relationship between those two things, and how much would it mean for them to get this sport back there?
Look, when I put myself back to October 3rd, 2004, I swear my eyes begin to water. I get chills, because that was a very sad day for me. I was at the final homestand at Shea Stadium. I was lucky enough to be living in New York, and as fate would have it, the last 3 games were in New York, and it was horrible. It was like going to a wake for 3 days. And I remember being there with my brother and being very sad about the fact that I would never see my team ever again. And I remember going down to the bottom of the stands, right above their dugout, for the 9th inning, the final out. And there were a few Expos fans still left, and we all just started chanting, "Let's go Expos." And it was sort of like our last goodbye. And I remember leaving thinking that I would never be a baseball fan ever again, and that I would never have a team. And it's just a very weird thing. Your team just ceases to exist. It's not natural. And so I'll also remember maybe 5 years ago when the Blue Jays came to the Big O for that first series. I believe it was against the Mets. And they were playing spring training games, and I went there with my son, who at the time was 2, and it was honestly like an out-of-body experience, because the Big O smelled the same, it looked the same, they were wearing the white jerseys, and I felt like I had just seen someone who I thought was dead. And that's when I started to have hope and believe, given how big the crowds were, that Montreal would have a team again. Lest we forget, my friend, that in the early 1980s, Montreal used to lead the National League in attendance.
Let him know.
Back in the day, we were the AAA affiliate of the Brooklyn Dodgers. The Montreal Royals played at the Dormier Downs. Yes. And so anyone who says that Montreal isn't a baseball town, anyone who says that Montreal doesn't deserve a baseball team, you are clearly mistaken. And lest we forget that the Washington Senators used to play in Washington. They had 3 kicks at the can. And so now they get a chance to take away our team? No, we get another chance, just like many other teams have had another chance. Cleveland has had another chance in football. Just because they were taken away from us once, do your research, look at the history. We were screwed by Major League Baseball, by Bud Selig, by Jeffrey Loria, by David Sampson. Montreal is a baseball town, and you know as well as I do, in 1994, we would have been the champions of the world. And Major League Baseball didn't want a Canadian team to win a World Series 3 years in a row, so they pulled the plug. I believe that, and I'll believe that till the day I die.
Perfect way to end. Thanks a lot, Ariel. We appreciate it, man.
All right. I'm done. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.